Jai Hind and good afternoon, my friends. Again, this is Wing Commander Jaidev Desai talking to you about the current topics. मुझे आशा है कि ये वीडियो भी आपको मेरे प्रीवियस वीडियो की तरह आपको अच्छे लगेंगे एंड अच्छे लगे तो प्लीज़ लाइक इट, शेयर इट और आपके फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली को बोलिए कि मेरा चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें एंड हेल्प मी टू मेक माय चैनल पॉपुलर. मैंने इससे पहले 3 वीडियो बना है अबाउट रिगार्डिंग यूक्रेन एंड रशिया सिचुएशन. मगर लाइक previous 3 videos also, in this video I'm not going to talk about the ground realities of Ukraine and also the strategy and tactics used by both the sides militarily, because that will make the video very technical. Ground position I'm not discussing because we are looking at the media, in TV media, day in day out, which is discussing and showing you the ground situation. Today we will be talking about, you see, the one is war is fought in Ukraine. But that is not the only war being fought today in the world. Another war is being fought for supremacy in the world, to create supremacy. It is a battle for supremacy. Till now, USA enjoyed the supremacy militarily as well as financially. USSR, when it was there at the time, USSR was considered as the number 2 or equal to America as far as the military power is concerned. And that is why the Cold War was there. But after the breakup of USSR, there's only a single polar world was created. But even at that time, the financial supremacy of USA was not questioned. But in this, after this particular crisis, the dominance of US dollar and financial supremacy of USA likely to be challenged. Is the financial world likely to go through some major changes? I'm not a wizard or the expert of finance, especially international finance. But still, I'll be talking to you on this as a layman, what I understand. And as a layman, talking to you as a layman, trying to explain what I feel and what the world is likely to go through in near future and maybe in distant future. Sanctions. USA and Western world are now expert in putting sanctions on the countries not towing their line or not abiding by the rules they have set. Like India. India also faced the sanction twice, in 24 and 98 when we carried out the nuclear explosions, and we were sanctions. But did the sanctions deter us? Did the sanction made us toe their line and give up what we set out for? No. Today we are a nuclear power. We achieved what we were set out to achieve. Sanction did not, maybe it could delay or our what we wanted to achieve and all for by some months or maybe couple of years. But we achieved what we wanted to achieve. Let's take case of Iran. Iran is sanctioned right from 1979 onwards. You know, there are about more than 5,000 sanctions are put on Iran by various countries. But has the Iran stopped doing what it wants to do? No. Is Iran economically a failed state? No. It is, as on today, it is growing by 3 to 4%. Okay, fine. You say that Iran otherwise could have grown by 6%. It's okay. But Iran also has got nuclear weapons now, or supposed to be having nuclear weapons. It is not declared that way, but it is supposed to be having it. These sanctions which are put on Russia, isn't it slightly vague or slightly odd that there are few things are exempted? Like, for example, when you talk about inner energy sanctions, let's talk about energy sanctions. Conventional energy, oil and gas, as, uh, is slightly delayed or exempted for certain time so that Europe can find the alternatives. Talk about alternatives. Today, Europe is 40% of European requirement is met by Russia. And to find this alternative, 40% of the alternative source, is it going to be easy? No. As per the statement of our external affairs minister in one of the discussion, he said that this crisis started in February. The sanctions were imposed, and all Western countries, including USA, asking us not to buy oil from Russia. But as per him, Europe purchased 15% more oil from Russia than they purchased in February. They did not reduce. They increased 15% purchase. If that is so, and he says that after 3 or 4 months, uh, the situation will not be different. That is the assessment of our external affairs minister. Then why should we reduce? Number two, the trust on USA as a friend, as a guarantee of security of the country, which they gave it to Ukraine, and see what is the condition of Ukraine. Yes, it is fighting back. There has been given the arms and ammunition by these Western countries. But who is losing? Who is getting killed? Who is getting destroyed? Is the Ukraine and Ukrainians. What happened to Afghanistan? Similar thing was given to Afghanistan also, but they withdrew. And see today what has happened to Afghanistan. Taliban is controlling Afghanistan. Let's talk about Iraq, Syria, Libya, and other countries. Iraq was destroyed because it was presumed that they had, or we were told that they have the weapon of mass destruction. Did they have it? No. All these countries were destroyed because they did not have the weapon of mass destruction. Do you think the countries of other countries of Asia and Africa are fools? They don't see this situation. The action taken on Iraq is not, same action is not taken on Iran and North Korea. Why? Because they have the weapon of mass destruction. So, if I want my country to be safe and secure, does that mean that I must have the weapon of mass destruction? Else, I'll be bullied, I'll be destroyed by someday if I don't toe line of America or Western countries. Is a lesson these countries are trying to teach to the world. What will happen? There will be race to increase the security and defense of the country. Take example of Finland and Switzerland. They were neutral till date, but now they want to have their own defense. Germany has increased their budget for defense. So there'll be, and this is going to happen by all the countries. So there will be blind race to spend more and more on defense. And the defense, when this country want to spend on, they'll purchase the system from where? America, Western countries, Russia, China, and now India. Israel, of course, Israel. These are only few countries there to depend on. By putting sanctions and threatening the countries not to buy things or not to do business with Russia, basically these countries want their system, their defense industry to sell the items to them, and thus improving their economy, financial thing. Notwithstanding that, today USA currency, US dollar, is a de facto currency of the world for commercial trading. Have you ever thought why? One reason is, of course, USA is the biggest economy, the most trusted economy, and hence its currency also. Yes, it is true. China are likely to reach that level, say another 5 to 10 years, but it take time. And China being what it is, the trust on China and China economy, the other countries then will take time to trust on them. So US is the only country today. But is it going to continue like this? And why USD is becoming the has become the de facto thing? There's a history behind it. It is not only that because it is the biggest economy in the world. Initially, US dollar was pegged to gold. I will not go into gold standard and all, which failed in 1933. So I'm not going to go into that. You can search on Google it and you can find the thing. But in 1944, there's an agreement between allied countries after the World War II. And USA took it on its own to peg USD at with the gold at 35 USD to ounce of gold. And that enable the currency of other countries to get converted to USD. But then, as the time passed, more USD came in the market, and realized uh, this particular pegging was basically to guarantee that in case in exchange of 35 USD, you'll get 1 ounce of gold, and that was a guarantee, sovereign guarantee given by USA, and that is how the USD became the international currency at that time. But as more and more USD came in the market, it became very clear that if all countries try to go back and get the gold from USA by giving the USD back, USA will not be able to fulfill their commitment. So in 1971, Nixon discontinued this, uh, and the USD was not more pegged with the gold, but that increased the inflation and issues in USA. The banking interest rate increased. So Nixon did one more thing. USA convinced Saudi Arabia first to sell their oil only by gold, by accepting gold, sorry, US dollar. And that is how the sale of oil continued only by accepting the US dollar. And after Saudi Arabia, because it was one of the major power in oil producing country, all other countries, all OPEC countries followed the suit. And all national oil companies producing oil also followed the suit. So dollar also was called or is called as a petrodollar. Now to buy oil, every other country is required USD. And that slowly and slowly the USD, and earlier of course because USD was pegged to dollar, so USD continued to be the common currency for international trade. But now what has happened because of sanction? We can't do business with no country can do business with Russia. Russia is a major oil producing country, and also Russia is not only gives oil but also is a major defense exporter. Number one, he is an agriculture product exporter and also the minerals. Talking about sanctions, and I we discuss, हमने बात किया कि यूरोप is a major oil purchase. Europe oil requirement 40% comes from Russia, and they're still continuing, and that is how there is an exception given for uh, oil purchase or finding the alternative to Europe and other countries. Time is given, but you know that uranium is also exempted out of it or from the sanctions, because Russia is one of the major exporter of uranium. And why it is so? Because Russian uranium is used by America to produce electric power in their nuclear facilities. If they include uranium also in the sanction, then America will have the power crisis. So uranium is exempted. So, so if America and Western countries do not want to create issues in their country because of sanctions, why should India and other countries accept those sanctions which are going to create problem in their countries? Now Russia did two things. What they said that if you want anything from us, oil, then you have to do trading either in ruble or in gold. So USD will not be accepted because SWIFT was also prohibited for Russian banks. And for that, what did Russia do? They pegged the gold price to 5,000 ruble, that is equivalent to around 1600 USD for an ounce as on date. Today, the market rate of gold is 1900 plus dollars. So, at about 20-25% discount is given. And also, what the price for crude oil today, Russia is selling at $35. The international price of crude oil today is $100. That means now India can buy cheaper oil from Russia than other countries. Why shouldn't India increase that oil purchase from Russia and reduce their import bill and cost of petrol? Today, the petrol and diesel price in India is more than 100. And all of us are crying for it. So, why shouldn't India buy more oil, cheaper oil from Russia and reduce the cost of petrol and diesel in Indian market? And same fit with all the countries. Now, to do the business, you require some international transaction methodology, that is SWIFT. And since Russia is not permitted to use SWIFT, Russia will have to find the alternate method. China has got the equivalent technology available and it's using it, and but though not very popular. But now China is ready to give this facility to Russia and other countries who want to use it. India has got the rupee system. It's not very popular, not internationalized as such. Right now, only few of the neighbors of India are using it. But this is a good opportunity for India to enhance the availability and technology of rupee system and offer it to the international market. I'm sure other countries will trust Indian system more than Chinese system. But then this two system will be an alternative system to the SWIFT, which has got a dominance status in international trade. Same when, like for example, Russia offered the trading other than USD. Iran also has said that we are ready to sell the oil other than in USD in a local currency. Venezuela, Latin America, all these oil producing countries are ready to do that and will follow the suit because in like Venezuela, they have also sanctions and they are not able to sell the oil. So now they will also have the same tactics. And once the linkage of dollar with oil is disconnected and the trading in other currency is initiated and formalized, other trading also will be done in not in USD because now countries do not require USD to buy oil. So why should they do that trading in other commodities in USD? So I feel that again, what I should tell you one more the statistics or the information. You know, after the sanctions are put and this SWIFT transmission is not allowed by Russian bank, Indian companies are waiting for payment of $500 million for the export they have made as on now. $500 million because of this. Who is going to suffer? Who's suffering? Indian companies. So the Indian government is duty bound to find the alternate method. Alternate method is do the business in ruble or the local currency instead of using SWIFT, either use Rupee or the Chinese or any other system for international payment gateway. And like India, I'm sure this problem exists for all the countries. And by the way, most of the Asian countries and African countries are not supporting Western countries on the sanctions. And because of this, the alternate method will come. So I feel there's also a war by Russia and China creating one axis against Western country to find alternate method of payment, alternate currency for doing international trade. This surely will reduce the dominance of USD in international market. What will be effect of that internationally? As I said, I'm not the expert on the thing, but you can say that Russian or American economy will face problem. Today, inflation rate in America is high because the dollar, the petrol, crude oil price is high. If they put embargo on purchase of uranium from Russia, their power will issues will come up, and a lot of other things will come up. And today, the countries like India, China, Russia, and other countries are not in mood to toe the line of USA and Western countries for their own benefit, because that does not suit us. And many of the countries are likely to follow us. This I thought that I should share with you. This thought of my what I understood. I thought I should share with you. Lot of materials available on internet. People who आपको जो ज़्यादा उनके लिए जानना है, like I told you, gold standard, white fail, other things. What is this agreement, Gerard agreement? It is called between light countries and USA in 1944, and why Nixon did not, discontinued this, and how the petrodollar thing came up. Then whole thing is available in the net. Very little is spoken about all this on our national media, but I think this is going to be the far-reaching consequences of this Ukraine and Russian crisis. Thank you very much. If you like my video, do like it, share it, and kindly, again, I request you to uh, make your friends and family to follow my channel. Thank you very much. God bless.